Hi there, I'm Adrian Salisbury, welcome to my channel, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the K&F wireless microphone system. So typically for 90+% of my videos, I'm quite close in like this, and it allows me to get a shotgun mic in nice and close, just out of view, and I find that to be the best result. But there are times when I want to stand further away and I need a wireless microphone system. One that I can clip onto myself, have the receiver on the other end of the camera, and know that this microphone that sits overhead isn't going to get in view. There are customers of mine who are fitness instructors or dance instructors and need to be able to stand further back and have good audio. A wireless mic is the solution for them. Now, personally, I use the Rode Filmmaker Kit, I believe it's called. It's £240, but really does a great job. It does exactly what I want it to do. But I've been asked a few times, is there a cheaper alternative? And if you caught my other videos recently where I've been reviewing shotgun mics, I've been really surprised to see how some of these budget versions of microphones really stand up well against the more expensive semi-professional alternatives. And so today we're going to put the K&F Concept version to its paces and see how this stands up. Now, I did just do a very quick unboxing. The link is below if you want to check that out. But here is really where we're going to put this through its paces and see how it compares. So really for me, like I say, I've been very happy with the Rode setup. I would consider it one of the best on the market. So I'm just very simply going to put them side by side and do some comparisons and ultimately hear what the audio is like, but also check a few other things as well. Functionality, the build of it, what do we think, how do they compare? The question really is, are you okay getting a £90 microphone setup like this, or should you pay the £150 extra and go for the Rode? So in terms of setting this up, you've got a transmitter and a receiver. And the way you know the difference is that one has mic written on the top. That's going to be the transmitter. So that's what will be attached to you or your subject as they're filming. Microphone's going to be clipped on, and that's going to transmit the audio back to the receiver on top of your camera. So you've got this little hot shoe bracket that will, when you squeeze the back of this on, it will just slide on there, and make sure it comes down to this bottom end because it's a tighter, more secure fit. Then we're going to slide this into the top of the camera on the Then we're going to slide this onto the top of the camera on the hot shoe mount and screw that down so it tightens up and is nice and secure. Because I'm recording myself rather than somebody else, I want to be able to see the little power light on here. So I'm going to make sure this is facing towards me. Then I've got an output jack on here that I'm just going to take the supplied lead, plug it in here. One end goes in, make sure it's pushed right in, and then the other end's going to go into the mic slot on the camera. Now, one feature that already is exciting me about this, a great idea that actually I don't know why I didn't think of before. Instead of putting this cable straight through from the output of here into the mic slot, you can take this one, and you'll see there's two little pictures on here. I can hardly see it without my glasses on. One goes to the microphone. So I take this original lead and I plug that back in here. Really got to make sure that's pushed right in and clicks. And the other end goes into the mic. But look, I've now got a headphone slot on here. So if your camera doesn't have a headphone slot on it, which most of them won't do, this allows you to monitor and hear what's coming through. Now, this isn't going to help you if you are a lone recorder like myself, but if you're behind the camera and you've got a subject over here and you want to have a listen through it, check what that audio is coming through like. This is a great way to be able to do it. So well done K&F for that one. I like that. For me, I'm taking it off for now though. This is just going to go straight into the camera as it is. With my batteries in place, I just turn the power on at the top, and quite a simple display that just shows me on the receiver end, I've got my channel number, I've got the power indicator to show how much life's in the battery, and then because I've got the volume on this one, I've got a reading that tells me how loud the output is from this receiver into the camera. On the other unit, the transmitter, all I've got in here, once I've put my batteries in, is a dial that has either aux or mic on it. You want to just flick that down to microphone, and then again there's a channel button just to make sure that we're on the same channel. The only reason you change this is if you were finding you were having problems or static or interference. It might just be worth changing the channel on both units and see if that helps. So I just fit my microphone into this one, close the door on it, and I would attach that to the back of me and feed the microphone through. Now, what I would always recommend you do is turn the input down as low as possible on your camera so that you're not using the preamps in the camera. We can turn the microphone up. So in this Lumix G80 that I'm running on, I'm going to make sure that audio is all the way down to minus 12 decibels. And then what I want to do, first of all, before we're looking at quality and comparing it, is to work out what volume level I want this to set at. It says in the manual it recommends between 3 and 4. I'm going to start it at 1 and keep telling you the volume as I increase it. So here we go. We've got the microphone attached to me now. The other end is on top of the camera. And we're just going to work through these levels and see which one really sits right for me. It really is worth taking the time to get this right. You've only got to do it once and then you'll know the levels that you want. Now on this Lumix camera that I've got, the audio input is turned right down to minus 12 dB. I recommend you do that on whatever camera you've got. Take it down to its lowest volume and let the microphones do the work. So we've got in our new clip. Let's have a listen and see what we think. So this is level number 1. Let's see how we go. What do we think to this? Now that's up to volume level number 2. Is that making much of a difference yet? Now we're at volume 3 and it said in the manual it was suggesting we would be at volume 3 to 4. So this could be the exact spot that we want to be in. Let's see what we think to it. I'm kind of waffling a bit because I just want to hear what this volume is like. Volume 4. Is this the optimum one for us? Bearing in mind, as I say, every camera and every person is going to speak differently and we'll need a different level. So you're setting this up for you. Volume 5, I can see straight away on the display on my camera that it's just starting to get some little red dots on that, which is telling me it's peaking. But I'm going to keep going another couple of stages and just see what happens. Volume 6, I'm guessing it's starting to get distorted now and getting a bit too loud for you. Volume 7, this is the last but one that we're going to take it to. I'm going to give it a go at 8, but this thing goes right up to 12, so I wonder whatever that does. And here we are at volume 8. I can't imagine needing to go this high or higher. Let's pull this into the computer and see what we think to it. Okay, so volume 3, there are a couple of times in that where I'm just a little bit too loud and it's just getting distortion. So I'm pulling this back to level 2 because I would rather lift the whole lot slightly than have any points where it peaks and I can't pull that back down again. Okay, so as I suggested, I've left this at volume number 2. 3 was kind of okay, but there were a few times when I said something a bit loud and it just took me over the top. And I know that you can't pull that back. It's a bit like in photography. If you get too bright a shot through a window and it just goes white, you can't get that detail or the color back into it. You can lift it, but you can't pull it back down again. And it's the same with audio. It's actually pretty forgiving to use Final Cut Pro, iMovie, one of these bits of software, and just lift the volume slightly, but you can't pull it back down. Okay, so level 2 it is. Now it's time to put this side by side with the Rode and just run a few tests. So let's have a listen to what this is like. You're hearing me talking to you now, and then I'm going to stop talking. Let's just see if there's any kind of noise that we can hear in the background. Okay, so now I'm coming through on the Rode microphone. Can we tell a difference in the quality of the sound? What about when I stop talking? Is there any difference in that sort of dead area? And back to the K&F. And now back to this Rode again. And then one last time back to the K&F. What are we thinking? Can we tell a difference between these two mics? Okay, so what did you think to that? Do you think it's worth paying £150 extra for the quality of that audio alone? Now, there are other things to consider. The build quality. I've got to say this K&F one feels quite clunky and plasticky. It's quite stiff pressing these buttons when I want to change the volume, but that's not actually affecting the quality of the audio. In contrast, this Rode microphone seems much more sturdy and better built. What about the battery indicators? That's quite a key feature. Well, I've got a symbol on both the transmitter and the receiver on the K&F one, and I've got a little dot that sits on the top so I can see. It would tell me if the battery is getting low. But I must say one of the features I love about the Rode is that I can have it sitting on the top of my camera and I can see those meters right in front of me, along with one that's telling me that the audio is coming through. I actually love a feature on the Rode microphones as well that I can charge that as I go. It can be constantly hooked up to mains power in exactly the same way that I do with my camera. So that's a pretty cool feature. I never need to worry about the batteries running out because it's not running from battery. Now we went through the volume levels on the K&F mic. I'd already got the Rode one set up. It allows me to go 10 decibels below and 20 decibels over. And I've got this set on 0. That works just right for my camera coming in. Other features that I like on the Rode, love the fact that it has this lock on the cable here, so I know that when I've put that on, that's not going to get pulled out when it's attached to me. I also really like that if I press the power button once, it will mute it from my end. So if I've got to run off to the toilet, I know that this thing's not going to be hearing me. And the same goes from the receiver end. You can mute it from that end too remotely. So actually I find myself in a bit of a dilemma. I've just put those two side by side. Audio alone, I really don't think there's a big enough difference to say you need to go for the Rode. You can actually save £150 and the audio quality of your videos won't be compromised at all. But on the other hand, I really like these Rode units. I think they're lovely to work with. I think the build quality is exceptional. These extra features that I just mentioned, bearing in mind, this is not something that you're going to wear out in a year's time. You could get 10 years life out of this easily. And so personally, even though I've just put these side by side and there's almost no difference between them, I still think I would go for the Rode for the build quality, for the extra features. I really do like it. But you would be completely justified in saving £150 and going for the K&F microphone system. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. Let me know in the comments below if you make a decision to go for one or the other. I'd be curious to hear what you think to it. And please be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can catch future videos. And why don't you go and check some of the other ones out? Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in another video.